Oh, thank you for that serenade.
Anybody
Skill?
recognize that? Cobra had a smile on his face. He looked like he maybe knew what it was.
Can we hear Cobra? Is Cobra coming through on the airwaves?
That would be the.
He's so quiet.
That would be the what?
Green beret, right?
All right,
Exactly.
I'm gonna bring up the gain on your laptop just so we can hear some Cobes.
I can bring it up over here too. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and it was an honor of me having to play a gig where somebody requested that this week. So, I just thought I'd play it. That's all. It's the first thing that came to mind. I've never played in my life until 3 days ago, and it sucks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Josh. Welcome to the Chanarain Podcast. With me, as always, is my bearded co-host, Mr. Andy Fooko.
That's me.
And if you didn't know, I'm here to let you know that this will be an explicit episode. So you have 5 seconds to listen to something else. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fuck. Let's tie one on and plow through this shit just one more time.
Hey, Skill.
Yes, Josh.
You know what really throws a wrench into my minivan submission?
What's that, Josh?
Just the usual cold weather, sun in my eyes, contacts trying to fall out, and still not making any major errors. That's just a testament.
Hey, you had one big blunder in the stress bay.
I did have a blunder in the stress bay on take 17. That's true. You get me 16 runs in, and
bound to make something.
I'm bound to fuck up eventually.
That's right.
Usually I'd fuck up on run 1.
That's right. There were plenty of fuck ups to make up for it. So,
but it's an exciting day. We've got our good friend Andrew Hoeneke, the Cobra himself, in us. I think he's in us all, really.
Isn't there a little Cobra in everyone?
So if it comes across as if we're fucking exhausted, it's because we are.
And when he used to be a younger man, he was definitely in everyone.
Back when he was just a little snake, not a full-grown Cobra.
Exactly.
Listeners can review the show on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. If I'm not mistaken. You can send us emails and voicemails to be played on air. Haven't had much of those lately. Don't want to pull a rab.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
What the fuck, guys? You can like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or if you're Australian, Snapchat. Check out the Chanarant store at chanarant.com. Become a patron. Patreon.com/Chanarant. This show's brought to you by our lovely patrons, some of whom are even watching us stream right now.
Only a very few, but...
Last but not least, invite, share with your friends. So we mentioned this briefly during the intro, but we have the Cobes. We have the Cobes here. Long-time listener, long-time caller.
Can't get rid of him.
Yeah. How's it been, my dude?
Life is good.
How's Chicago
Just
treating you?
trying to stay warm as the weather goes otherwise.
Yeah, man, it's getting rough out there. It was a balmy 60 degrees here in Las Vegas. We were all freezing.
Everyone was whinging by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, the sun just goes down and everybody starts to fucking lose their minds. Like, it was pretty funny. But yeah, Chicago's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, today I was out and about, just kind of enjoying the day as best as one can in a lovely 37.
Jesus Christ.
Josh is going to Chicago for Christmas, I believe.
I am.
I can't wait till he shows up there with his jean
all
jacket.
Things going well. I hope. Yeah, that's the intention. I think the 22nd on, I'm going to be up in the Windy City, as it were. And by the Windy City, I mean in the suburbs, not being able to go out or see anyone or do anything.
Yeah, it's going to be a big waste of time other than visiting her family.
Gotta take the lady home, see her folks, and for the first time in forever, have a meal that I didn't have to fucking cook.
Will it happen on time, though, is the question.
I'm thoroughly enjoying that idea of just like, I'm just gonna have a beer and maybe do dishes later. Lovely. What
Brilliant.
I want to go to there.
I would put money on the fact that Josh is going to take over the kitchen when he gets there.
Nah, dude. Nah, I'm not that bad in the kitchen. I'm pretty bad, but I'm not that bad.
We'll see. If anybody's wants to take bets on this, I'm happy to oblige.
So we briefly alluded to this in the intro, but if anyone's wondering why we're tired,
it's been a long
been a long fucking day. So Fusco, what were we up to today before the show?
Today was the grand recording of the mini band. I don't know what it's called, but the mini band contest run by F.U. Joe Brady. So we actually went out and recorded today and spent the afternoon doing that essentially.
Yeah.
And we played for probably good hour and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say we
Maybe
put some
2.
reps in. It was interesting. We had. I wish we had more photos. I didn't even think to take behind the scenes photos of like the rig and like the jankety ass setup that we did, so we could try to get, because we were outside, so we wanted to get like mics close to the pipes so we could actually get some decent audio.
I don't know why.
Let me tell you,
do that, but
let me tell you how sensitive and how close to the pipes those mics were. I could hear every mistake and everything that was out of tune in the history of time.
Yeah, but you could hear that from where you were standing without the headphones on too.
Well, no, I just kept. I have a trick that I do now to where if I'm in the circle and the mistakes from either drummers or pipers next to me or the tuning is so bad that I really just can't deal with it and it's like affecting my performance, I just keep pushing my earplugs in deeper until they touch my brain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I find that tends to help me really focus on just standing still and playing my music.
It does. It does, absolutely. I think it tickles that special part of the brain that makes you not kill the person standing next to you.
I mean, I came and shat at the same time. I went too far in. So you know, I pulled a I pulled a Cobra, as we say.
You shot and came at the same time. So quick, somebody add that to the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
You ever been Cobra'd?
But no, I got no complaints. I got to stand in the corner and play music and hang out with my friends. So I was happy. I was a pig in shit.
Yeah, it was fun to play, and it was fun to kind of like try to figure out a setup and how we might do this.
There were some truly, in my mind, there were some truly good moments.
There were. We just couldn't do them all at once.
You just couldn't do them all at once. Yeah.
It was a cacophony. No. What's the right word here? It was a how would you describe this?
Comedy of errors.
Comedy of
is
errors,
how I would
yes.
describe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like we'd hit the beginning. Somebody would make a massive blunder in like the march, and then we'd pretty much do pretty well the rest of the way.
My favorite was like take 2 or 3 where we had like a really solid run at the march and then immediate honker as soon as we went into the first Strass Bay. I was like, oh well, at least
I believe that was take 3.
yeah. And it's like at least that mistake is blaring and in the middle of the fucking performance.
And we can't. It's too late to start over.
Yeah.
Like if it was the first part, we'll just start over.
Yeah,
Okay.
like when someone blows the attack, we're like, oh, okay, we'll just like cut, reset, let's do it again.
Yeah.
When you blow it halfway through the set, you have that. I watched you. I was watching you from my position because I was by the drums, and I was watching every single time there was a mistake. Fusco doing the mental math of will this take longer to start over or to just finish the fucking set and do it again?
I was thinking that every time. I'm like,
was
that a big enough mistake where I should just cut my losses now?
Like
or...
the whole time I'm just watching you and I'm like, oh, like what is he gonna do? Is he gonna step in on this or?
Yeah,
and I found your cutoff point. Your cutoff point was like if there was I think it was like the third part of the march.
If we got to the third part of the march, I pretty much let it go.
And like we're gonna go to the end at that point.
Yeah.
But if it was anything before the third part of the march, you tended to be like, all right, let's go ahead and do this again.
I mean, what do we waste 30 seconds at that point? You know? But there were times when
because we were also well, and it's you know we were also there's a method to your madness because we were trying to get the drummers used to the music.
What do you mean? Wait.
One of our drummers I don't think had ever played that set.
No, he played the set, but just he never competed with this band before. He's never competed at all.
So I mean, there's something to say for if we're halfway through it and it's already blown, might as well try to finish it strong so the drummers get some
just
reps
a practice
in.
run.
Yeah, just get reps in.
Yeah. No, that's true. But it was interesting though. I think it was by take 3, maybe 4. I think we did 5 total. We were really starting to nail the march, and then every time we hit that first Strass Bay, it was like fucking somebody just didn't. It's like they're on another planet.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, what are you doing?
Some solid march runs. Yeah. Actually, some pretty solid real runs too, in my opinion. No good runs in the first Strass Bay.
No, not a
zero good runs in my opinion in the first Strass Bay. I want to cut that tune.
Yeah, it's probably coming.
Cobra,
it's long overdue.
Well, you've been sitting patiently and quietly. Have you guys entered into any online kind of stuff, or what have you been up to aside from finding the 5 and daily pipe band drumming?
That is pretty much it. The band, my band that shall not be named, which most people can figure out easily, went on a all summer sabbatical. We literally did nothing from the second week of March until the beginning of August when in-person outdoor rehearsals were possible. And then we did some of that until we had to move indoors and found a new space where we could still be distant and all that stuff. And then, as of now, it's not even an option anymore.
Well, fuck.
They stopped that for where you are?
Well, a lot
Jesus.
of it's recommendation or however you want to see it. But, it's just in our best interest to kind of put the kibosh on it for a little while again.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. We probably shouldn't either, but, we're rebels. We channel ran it ourselves and went out there anyway. So here's can I bitch for a second?
Of course.
I mean, we might as well keep going this way. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ! Sorry, Cobra. See, I'm doing 17 things at once.
Don't worry about it. Just do your thing. Just do your bit you're about to do.
Yeah, no, I had to transition.
I
never put them on screen.
You never put them on screen?
Sorry about that. So we go through all this effort, right? And part of this I fucked up a little bit, but this is what's funny. So we went through all this effort to dress. Joe asked us to be in kilts, and I would have went without.
I'm so
dressing.
excited that you're going with this point. I didn't say shit, by the way.
I know, and I thought about losing my mind, and then I decided, where are we going to go with this? Like, do we have any choice at this point?
I don't need a gold star. All I need is the occasional acknowledgement that, like, a week or two ago, you asked me to be less of a cunt at practice, and I feel like I've been doing it.
Well, yeah, that's true. I meant less of a cunt to me. I don't care what you do to the other guys.
Well, Fusco, it's either that switch is either on or off. It's a 1 or a 0.
Oh Jesus! Well, hell. So anyway, so we were gonna go light tops, right? We have these blue shirts t-shirts, right?
This one that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, and I have it underneath as well.
God, I fucking hate this shirt.
That's fine. So I didn't realize that. Of course, I didn't know that the new drummers didn't have it, for one, and I should have thought of it, but I didn't. So then I contacted our quartermaster to try to get a hold of these shirts so that
not even the best part of this story.
No, it gets way better. But I'm going to set this up because
dude, Fusco has gone on a fucking Lord of the Tolkien-esque quest to get people in clothes,
to get people outfitted, because I am not the quartermaster and I do not have access to this stuff, and our quartermaster is on like fucking
Mars.
I gotta be nice. He's on religious sabbatical on every Friday. So anyway, I should have contacted him sooner, but that part I fucked up. But so anyway, I had to travel across town. He lives 25 minutes from me, probably, to try to get some t-shirts. So I asked him yesterday, leave these shirts. This is what he does. If it's a Friday, he leaves his whatever I need to pick up out on his doorstep.
Dope.
Because I can't get a hold of him otherwise. He's Jewish, so Fridays are no good for him, Friday to Saturday. So he does that, and I'm like, wait a minute. So then I come to realize that the shirts that I asked for, you don't have, Daniela doesn't have, and Jeremy doesn't have.
No, we never got those.
Yeah. I'm like, how the fuck do you guys not have these shirts? What the fuck? So then
we only got these ones.
So then I'm like, well, half of us have the blue ones, half of us have the black ones. Like, why does nobody have the same fucking shirt? Like, what is the problem here? So anyway, traveled all the way across town, picked up these shirts. I'm like, all right, we'll put drummers in one set of shirts. We'll put everybody else in the other shirt, and that'll be fine because that happens sometimes, right? No big deal. So we do that. So we get to the place, right? We're setting up. We're all dressed. One of the drummers shows up, and he's like, what did he say? Did you remember what he said? He's like, oh, I don't. He's like pulling the stuff out of his drum case. He's like, oh, I don't have the blue socks. I'm like, do you have? I'm like, what?
Well, first he asked me, so I was going in to use the loo.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, and he's like, hey, Josh. I was like, yeah. He's like, do you have an extra pair of blue hose? I was like, not fucking with me. Like, and he's like, oh, well, that's a bummer. I'm like, oh, mate. Like,
you knew, and then he hadn't said anything to me yet.
well, he was going that way, and I was going in to take a piss.
Right. So then he says it to me. He's like, hey, I don't have any blue hose, but I've got. He's like, is this going to be good enough? And he pulls out charcoal, I think, or whatever. I'm like, no. He's like, well, I don't know. They should be here. Like, all my stuff should be here. He's like, and then he said, I don't have black flashes either. I'm like, oh, and I don't have my ghillies. Like, what the?
What do you have?
What do you have?
He's got a kilt.
You brought his kilt, I guess.
Classic fucking drummer.
I'm like, wait a minute. So you just checking your stuff? You're checking in your bag right now? You didn't like look in this before you left the house? And I'm just like,
I'm curious though. So when did you check your shit for today?
for what I was going to wear. I don't need to. It's always
I'm about to say,
always done ahead of time.
Like my shit's always in the same spot, and I checked it yesterday.
I did it when
Because I was like, if there's anything I have to wash, press, anything, I don't want to do it day of.
yeah, it's done when I hang it, not when I need to pick it up. Yeah. So, so then I'm just sitting there like, and he's like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, it's like I just drove across town so you could have the right T-shirt, and then you didn't bring the rest of your shit.
Anything else.
I'm like, why do I?
Dude, how many times have we had this? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm singling out drummers because they're usually the culprit.
It's not only them.
It's not only them, but more often than not, it's usually a drummer that didn't bring their shit.
Yes.
In my
Not
experience.
in my band.
it's see, this is the beauty of a band like yours, Cobra, where you got you have a sizable band. So if somebody fucks up, you can be like, all right, go home.
Yeah, you stand to the side, bitch.
And then it doesn't really affect
I'm
you.
also just lucky enough to have the fact that the drummers know me so well that they would never do that. They just wouldn't, and I've assembled a team who kind of like most of the drummers are like IT professionals. They're people who are used to having to have their shit together, not at the expense of other people. And so they just show up early with their shit ready to go, pressed, and it works out. And I never have to go ballistic as a result, which is perfect because then I get to feel like a nice guy and I can yell about playing instead of stupid uniforms.
Yeah, but how did they learn
that? Indoctrination. I'm very, very consistent. I send out like checklists. I send them out again. You can ask, the guys in the band came up with a nickname for me. Informatas is the nickname that they refer to me because I constantly resend the same shit, but that's how you actually get this stuff done. I'm willing to be the one that bugs everybody if the band looks good and we're all where we're supposed to be on time.
That's fair. That would be.
I would like to be devil's advocate here.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because there's a case to be made for just being a normal adult human.
This is pipe band, son.
Like,
I would love for that to be true.
Like for example, Fusco.
Yeah.
If you showed up to this podcast recording tonight, and when you got here, I was just Winnie the Poohing it naked from the waist down, I wouldn't be like, well, you never fucking reminded me to wear pants and underpants, did you, Andrew?
Like, why would I bring kilt hose? And did I not text everybody? Like, I even
relentlessly.
said, I texted everybody, said, because Daniela asked I hate to she asked a very stupid question. I said, wait, bring your blue t-shirts. She wrote back immediately, the blue dress shirt. I said,
no.
I was so thinking like,
I saw the picture. Did you see me?
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah.
But I was like, look above what I just said. Bring the blue T-shirt.
Like, I fucking laid the shirt out and took a picture of it and sent it to the group thread. I was like, this is the fucking shirt I expect to see you
right.
in.
You did that, and I just wrote back. I was in my head. I wanted to be super snarky, but I'm like, just read what I just fucking said. And I said, no, blue T-shirt, and that's it. And then I said, okay, let me just say it again, just to be safe. I said, kilt, sporin, hose, flashes, ghillie brogues. I even said skin-do just because I knew how people are. I said, if you have a belt, bring it. Pipers bring a belt. Drummers don't need it. And we will bring you the T-shirts. No hats. I said this clearly before anybody left their house, via text. And I'm like, what?
Don't look at me. I showed up in the right shit.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
dude. I've officially become the goalie of pipe band. I just shut up and play my fucking position.
Well, here's what's interesting, because he said something that his band would probably, or his drummers kind of know better, because they're a little, maybe it's fear, maybe it's just respect. I don't know what it is, but they wouldn't do it, right? Like people are definitely afraid of me, like in the band. They don't want me to be mad at them. I've gotten that comment many a time. But they still do this shit that gets me fucking insane, and then I lose my mind on them.
Well, I'm interested.
Why can't you just bring your clothes?
I'm interested in breaking some of this down. So, like, Cobra, in your experience, what motivates you not to be that fucking guy?
I've never been that guy, and I think a lot of it comes down to having had somebody who took me by the hand and taught me literally every item, how it's supposed to be worn, how it's supposed to be cared for.
But like personally and intrinsically, Like,
Yeah.
what is your motivation to? Is it? Do you? Because I'm gonna get at a point here.
Sure.
Like, do you have your shit together because you're afraid of being reprimanded if you don't?
No.
Okay, so why do you have your shit together?
It's not my culture to misrepresent. First of all, I am not Scottish at all. Like, there is no kilting in my heritage. But if I'm going to wear someone else's costume, so to speak, I'm going to wear it correctly.
See, I have a even different thing. Like, for me, like, I never want to be the fucking asshole that's got his shit fucked up. And I mean, in an emergency, you can get away with it. Like, if something goes wrong and like you really have no control over the situation, all right, like, shit happens, life happens, whatever. But like, I don't want to be the fucking asshole who has to basically make everyone else plan for their failure.
Correct.
I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the person who's just like, they'll show up, they'll play their part, they're there.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with like the respect for Scottish dress or any of that. I mean, I do respect all that stuff, but for me, it's just like,
it's respect.
you're
for
part
your,
of.
It's the team.
You're part
It's
of
your
the
other
team,
people.
right? You don't want to be the weak fucking link.
And it's not that I don't think they're actively disrespecting. I don't think this person intended to be actively disrespectful, but by not thinking ahead and thinking about like, hey, let me plan for my team, he's being disrespectful. It's not intentional,
and he's being disrespectful to everybody on that team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not just me.
Well, you don't get me wrong. There's one-offs. Every pipe major carries 2 caps. I carry 2 fucking hats. In my case.
Yeah, I carry 2 hats. I usually have extra metal stuff, but I can't carry an entire fucking uniform.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's goddamn ridiculous.
Like when you show up and ask me if I have an extra set of hose on me, I was like, no, I didn't bring my fucking wardrobe. I brought my shit. Like,
we don't even stock that stuff. Like, hose are a piece of personal property. We order them a couple times a year. If you forgot to bring yours, you forgot to bring yours.
You're staying on the sideline, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and there's not an extra pair floating somewhere that someone could bring you unless someone happens to have a second pair of the same size.
Well,
and
I also think
lucky, but that's it.
I mean, I own 2 pair of hose of our color
because you fucking play a lot.
Because I play a lot, and I have to. Yeah, otherwise I'd eat through them. But
I mean, my thing is just like, you get to a point, and that's kind of where I want to steer some of this conversation. We haven't done any of the news and updates, by the way, but kind of where I want to
get there.
Kind of what I want to steer this conversation is, like, yeah, I could bring an entire box of extra uniform parts with me to every fucking gig. Then you would expect me to have it at every gig, and you would take no personal responsibility for your own fucking actions.
Correct. I can't tell you every time.
Just the night before when you go to bed, dude, I was lit. Post happy hour and playing Call of Duty and whatever, and I got all my shit out, and I'm like, my drunk ass is making sure everything's okay, everything's laid out, I got 2 of everything, we're good to go, and then I fucking crashed. You know, if my drunk ass can do it, anybody can.
You know what would have been a great way to know that you didn't forget anything? To get dressed at home before you fucking got there, like the rest of us.
Well, I'm always wary.
Other than Jeremy, that would have been the easy way to know for sure.
I'm always wary when you show up to a gig and you're not dressed.
Yeah, I'm like,
there are those people who, for whatever reason, cannot seem to get in and out of a car without turning their kilt into a dog's dinner.
Correct. So there is that.
You know,
there is that too.
But when you pull your kilt out of your drum case, it's already a dog's dinner.
Yeah, I'm like, oh boy.
Well, there's already something wrong with that. There's something in a drum case other than a drum.
Right.
Nothing
I mean, he had charcoal hose, black hose, like 2 or 3. Well, the shoes weren't in the drum case. He had, and even white hose. I think they were all in a drum case because he had every option other than the navy blue.
This guy's gonna feel real singled out if he listens to the show.
He doesn't listen.
It's you fucked up. It happens. Don't worry about it. Don't take it personal, bro.
Just be better next time. I don't understand.
Just be better. Just don't be that fucking guy. Like, that's it. You know.
Listen, I remember playing like soccer in high school or whatever, track, and there was always that kid, and it was almost always the same kid or something. There's always somebody that would like forget shit, and he was just, their mindset is just complete they're just all over the place mentally.
My natural state is that.
It seems though
I've tried to train out of it.
That's a totally different thing. I'm talking like just complete like airhead type people, right?
Yeah.
But they were very few. It seemed like it was like 1 out of 20. I don't know, however many people were on the team, and it would happen every once in a while. It's like today in this organization and probably bands in general, It happens almost every time, and it's like 2 or 3 people out of 14.
It just blows my mind. Yeah,
It's like getting worse.
Like, just have your shit. Well, granted, I've been working on this behind the scenes. I've already talked to you about the bagpipe primary assessment and the checklist.
That's just more shit for them to ignore.
It's just gonna be like, hey, these are things. Like, every single time I see you, you need to have all these things in your case, and you have all this shit ready to go. Like,
it just blew my. It was just killing me. Like, and I'm like,
granted,
right.
I can't gloat too much on my preparedness because my drone stocks are terrible.
Yes, they are. But
you guys can actually pit each other or pit the band against each other though, because like you're a team, so like you could have whoever the bad guy is going to be, bad cop, good cop could be like, hey, fix that before the other guy sees you, or like, oh man, whatever. Like, again, in our band, they call it, and again, I'm okay with being the one that people poke fun at if the band is better because of it. So, like, being out of uniform in any way is called losing Hoineke bucks. Like, and I'm okay, they'll be like, oh, your tie's down. What is that, like 3 Hoineke bucks?
Right.
I'll say this too, though. We've got people who have never, because of the situation, we've never got to go on the field, so they're not used to like the typical gig or games experience that we would have.
This guy's been doing it for 20 years plus.
Yeah, but with us,
well,
doesn't matter. Is it different?
Right? You just competed with drummers.
That's yeah.
Well, 2 snare drummers.
Cheers to that.
I mean, what are these guys going to do? Our first games of 2021 when we get to travel and we show them how we line up all the fucking drums for inspection and all that shit.
Oh yeah. I've tried to have one of the wonderful things about Kyle is he's incredibly anal, probably very similar to Hoineke, and and this is, I love this about when he was running Phoenix at the time, and like we would show up and like the drummers didn't throw their shit down and fuck off. They had to put all their shit out. They all knew what they were supposed to do.
Their shit. They had to fucking everything. Had
Drum
to be
cases were out. Drums were on the drum.
Similar and span.
I've seen Glenn Caviedel's core do this stuff like that. Like, hey, let's treat our process with respect. Like I can't wait, and I'm hoping Kyle can instill this in this group.
Well, and I think it's not even just about, in my opinion, treating the process with respect. It's about repetition and indoctrination in a sense. It's like, hey, if I know, and you cut down on nerves, you cut down on all kinds of things. If I know when I get there, here's all the things I have to do. I have to show up, help out the tent, put food out, set my drum up, clean this, do this. Like, you just build in this system of like, oh, I don't have to have nerves because I know what my job is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also you won't have nerves when something goes wrong because something won't go wrong because everything's in the same place all the time.
It's just repetition over and 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 over again.
Right. We don't
That's
have
it.
that.
It doesn't matter where we show up. I put my drum down on upside down on my case, like when I arrive at the games that day. Whoever's next asks me which direction we're facing, and they put their drum where they stand in the line upside down on its case. And everyone else follows suit. They see where my carrier is, their carrier goes there. The bags go behind that. So like, and it's been that way for now. We've built our process, and so now we're at a point where when someone onboards to the core, like somebody else kind of takes them on as a battle buddy. Like the guy standing next to them in the core might be like, hey, make sure you do this, and there's that sort of handed down tradition that makes it really, really easy. So I don't even have to say anything to anybody. Like I put my drum down and boom, 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 7 other drums are in line the same way.
Is it too late for me to switch to drum corps?
Well, maybe not at the rate we're going.
At the rate we're going, yeah. But I mean, that even tracks like on the piper side. Like, today everyone's asking like, what do we do with pipes? And it's like you do exactly what the pipe major does. When he fucking gets his pipes out, you get your pipes out. You play when he's playing. You don't fucking play when he's not playing. Like
all that. And then I had to explain.
You got to warm up together, cool down together.
Granted, it's been a while, so all right, I'll give him a little leeway. But I definitely had to answer that question, like. Because we have one guy that's a little gun-ho, and he's, like, super high anxiety. And he was like, he's always the guy playing before everybody else. Like, dude, I never want to see you do that. Nope. Like, I don't know he's kind of like Angel now.
Well, yeah, he's the dude that's like, I'm going to play for 4 hours before anyone else gets here. I was like, no, you got to
I'm going to go
chill.
play a concert.
Yeah.
Because I want you guys to hear me play. Like, nobody, I don't.
It's not even that. It's just nerves.
Way to be
no, it's anxiety.
When it matters.
Yeah, it's just nerves. It's like, no, you got to save it.
Yeah, it's anxiety, so I'm going to do something so I
like imagine
feel like I'm doing
it's
something.
like here's how we'll pitch this, and you can edit this to make it more PG before you pitch to the band.
Okay.
Imagine if you had a boxer pre-fight, and he jerked off 17 times before the fight. You don't want that.
No.
Yeah, like that's bad. You want to fight, then jerk off later.
Right. Like, exactly. Yeah. No, and just to be clear, I meant Angel was the type that loved to put on a concert for everybody before.
Well,
it would drive me nuts.
Well,
this
one of
guy
those
was more like,
things. Nah.
This is a mental anxiety where people feel like if I'm not doing
something, I'm doing nothing.
I'm doing nothing. But like doing nothing is part of the process. Like you have to prepare mentally as opposed to physically. Like this is the day of. We don't do any of that.
These
you
are
need
people.
to prep yourself for-
and you get gassed, right? Like you get mentally
Exactly
and
correct.
physically gassed,
and look what happened.
and you leave your shit. You leave your best run on the practice ground.
Correct. Yeah, exactly correct. And that's
I mean, it's
very
one of those
often
things where it's like, I mean, I also, and I'm not trying to intentionally shit on Angel because he's just the person that comes to mind that's like this. And I love the man.
sometimes.
Oh, I love him always. But you know, he's also the kind of person, and there's a lot of them in a pipe band. Angel's just the example that sticks out, but he represents a large swath of people who don't play enough on their own.
Correct.
And so when they finally get all their shit together, and it sounds pretty good, they want to play through their whole fucking repertoire for an hour because they like to play.
Right.
It's like, dude, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that. I know you like to play. I know you want to listen to all your shit and play through different things because your pipes are sounding good and you're out among friends and you're playing. But also, you should play more when there's not people around.
Just go do it at home.
Yeah. Like,
or set yourself up, like go play in a park where people are listening.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
For your practice,
like,
because you get off on people listening.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, I mean, I
or
think
wherever.
that there's like you get to a contest day or performance day, and you get people who will play for 45 minutes nonstop and wreck their pipes because they're just happy because they're happy to be playing.
Yeah,
and they enjoy playing. And they enjoy the act of playing. They enjoy the fact their pipes sound good. They enjoy the fact that they're outside enjoying themselves. And I'm like, yeah, you could do this any day. Go to a park.
Yeah. And people will come up and talk to you, and you'll get a similar
but don't
ego high.
Yeah, but don't like blow your load pre-performance or pre-contest by playing for 45 minutes and blowing your pipes to shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Imagine how awesome you would be, how awesome you would feel, how awesome your instrument would be and everything else if you just played a little bit every single day.
Right.
Just a little bit every single day.
Yeah. Exactly correct.
I mean, these are things I'm personally connected to, but like seriously, just a little bit. Like I literally only played one march 3 times today. That's it. That's the only drumming I did today, but I still did it. You know?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 35 years.
Yep.
Like,
do you think there's there's definitely a consistency. Why that is, I don't know. But as you get further along, like where you're at, because you've been doing it for so long, and I've been doing it for so long, like playing is easier. Like I don't dread picking it up like I used to when I sucked. You know, so do you think there's some psychology that like, I'm just going to fucking suck anyway, so, you know, like there's some hesitation or anything like that to it?
I think the psychology aspect is right. I think a lot of people they only end up playing what they have to play, or they like their repertoire consists of stuff they're supposed to know.
Right.
Instead of finding a way to include just a couple of things that are self-serving, if for no other reason than you like playing them. They don't need to be something you're going to perform or solo with or whatever.
Right.
But like having something you're
I matched the bell to the audio of the fart.
I didn't play it, but that was
you know, if you're a little personally invested, you'll probably do it. Even if you only pick up and noodle that tune, at least you played today instead of not.
played something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think, and for pipers, I think that you have 2 barriers to entry that make you like not want to play. You either know you haven't practiced enough, or you know you haven't done good maintenance.
Or it's going to be physically difficult to do it.
Yeah, you haven't maintained the instrument, or you know you haven't maintained the tunes, basically. And so that gives you like this internal dread of like, this is going to be hard because my shit's all shit.
Yeah. And I get that. I felt it, especially if I take a break and I come back and like my fingers kind of like stuck in mud a little bit before it takes time to warm up a little bit. I'm like, I just know I'm going to deal with that. But it's acceptance of these these things.
Even the
sooner you accept it, the better I feel.
Yeah, like even the low level shit. Like I took 6 months fucking off when Rona happened, and it was a combination of just like not meeting with people, not getting gigs, not doing stuff like that. Like just being fucking generally goddamn depressed because I was unemployed and had no reason to live.
Right.
And like, I'm just now getting back to like a baseline of pretty okay. And every time I pick up my instrument and play it, I enjoy it.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it's still in shambles, I still enjoy playing it.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. I still enjoy the sound it makes.
Well, I'm curious, like for pipers, there is the dread of the physicality of the maintenance part of it. Also, there's the fingers practice thing. But for drummers, that's really not a thing. I mean, carrying a drum sucks, but generally you guys are playing pads most of the time anyway. Is there another aspect to it other than for a drummer than like the hands part of it, I guess, or the
I think one of the things that's out there for drummers is that we are, like it or not, we're an accompaniment instrument, right? Mm-hmm. And so if a drummer doesn't like have a tune to play for or a score to play with a tune or whatever, they're less likely to know what to do on a day-to-day basis when they just pick up their sticks to noodle around. Like the idea of just extemporaneously playing is not in most drummers' wheelhouse. Like, and I get that. I understand that. But yeah, I think some of it comes down to just not having anything specific or non-specific, something that they can just do that's more personal or whatever. And then there's this whole like, oh well, where am I going to find a score? How am I going to learn this score? Oh, I don't even know the scores I'm supposed to know. And so it creates these weird burdens. And that's kind of where I came up with Finding the Five, was like, here's a couple of patterns that you can repeat every day.
You see that segue? He did a great job segueing.
Yeah.
Why can't you segue like that?
But that's it. Like I thought, okay, hey, drummers, here are 5 basic skills we all need to be better at. And here's 5 incremental exercises over the course of 5 weeks that we're going to do 5 days a week. Literally in order to have something to do. You don't need to play a score. You don't need to be thinking about whether or not this is in unison or the correct tempo or some other thing. You can just think about whether or not you're playing drums well, and if this is the pattern you're supposed to be playing, and try and get better tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like we're on a very good thread here. I also realize that we're 40 minutes in and we've done none of the news and updates.
Yeah, we should get at least through quick some of that.
Let me just burn through it real quick, and we'll get back to this. All right, we already talked about the miniband recording. The Kids with Cancer charity event, the worst named and worst graphically designed event in all of time.
Did you see my post on their thing today, or the other day?
Oh my god! I'm gonna make them a banner because their banner is horrible.
So I said something to them. I said, they put out an advertisement. I said, I will go, but only if you change the fucking name of this goddamn.
Only if you change the name, and only if you don't make your graphics in MS Paint. So here's my donation to the Kids with Cancer charity event.
You're gonna redo their.
I'm gonna redo their branding and just send it to them.
Can you change the name as well?
No. I'll give them an editable file.
Okay.
The December patron raffle. So for those of you who do not know, if you are a patron of the Chanarant podcast, every month, once a month, we raffle off a free piece of merch to a member. And yee-hoo! Do we have our person, Fusco?
We do have our person. Do you want to know who it is?
Let's
have Cobra do a drum roll. He's the drummer.
Yeah. You want to do a drum roll there, Cobes?
Do it with your hands. It doesn't matter.
And this month's winner is Sue Kennedy.
Yay!
Sue.
Do you know Sue?
Yeah, she came to one of the happy hours that I sat in on for the dojo.
She's been in a couple, yeah. She's a student of the dojo. That's for you, Sue.
Christ, would you
but
stop
congratulations. You get to win a t-shirt, so if you just let me know, I'll talk to her.
Yeah. So you've won a free shirt from the Chanarant store. Pick one you like. Email us, chanarant@gmail.com, and we will ship it to you. Good job. Thanks for being a patron,
Cobra,
Sue.
you've been a patron for a while. You've never won anything, have you? Or no? Well, someday.
Well, we do make it impossible
it's
for anyone
bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, because nobody can win twice.
I cross them off the list, so nobody can win twice. But it's coming, man. It's bound to happen.
So,
just happy to support the program.
There you go. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
The other thing I have here is some recent internet trolling.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So you finally broke down and trolled the snake charmer piper.
I did. I couldn't take it anymore.
Do you want to tell us about your journey?
I do. I've never trolled anybody on the internet ever in my life. I've never made a negative comment towards anybody.
Facebook is toxic,
publicly.
and we all avoid it.
But I just couldn't do it anymore. And she put out a post a couple days ago saying something like, her holding a set of pipes in this super sexy Santa outfit or something or other. And she said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a Christmas EP or something or other. Bagpipe tunes on Christmas tunes. I'm like, and I was thinking, oh, please don't. All I could think of was, the last thing we need is that right now. 2020's been hard enough.
2020's been hard.
So I was like, how mean should I be? So I just wrote, very simple, please don't. And posted it on her thing. And then I put angry, click the angry button. And I posted it to all the six. The hashtag all of the six Facebook group. By the way, join that. It's a lot of fun. It's very gross.
Yeah, we're going to have to make that private. So.
I just did that today because I'm like, all right, we got to make this private. This is getting real ugly in here.
It's getting out of hand.
But anyway, so then, I didn't do it for this purpose, but a whole bunch of people started a few people started posting, ganging up on her and started posting shit to her to this same post. And starting to call for action. Everybody's like, everybody post to her. I'm like,
all the villagers started showing up with fucking pitchforks.
With pitchforks, yeah. I'm like, no, that's not really what I intended. I don't really care that much, but she just annoys me and I'm tired of it. And what was funny though, one of the funniest things, I think it was Eric Evenhouse that said this, was there were so many comments about, yeah, do it. All these fucking old men bagpipe guys. Like, and Eric said something like, man, there sure are a lot of thirsty dudes on this post or something like that. I'm like, yeah, man, that's why she's fucking popular. Please don't do this anymore. I'm tired of this nonsense.
Dude, are you kidding me? I want to hire this chick.
I think we should get her
I
on
want
the
to
show.
hire her to do the marketing for the Channeran podcast.
I want to hire
whoever
her marketing person
She's a fucking
is.
marketing genius. All right.
No, she's a pretty face. She's got somebody behind her.
Yeah, well, I don't care. Either way. All I want is results.
Contact her and see who her marketing person is. Because she's not taking her own pictures. Somebody's behind this, And I'm just, Jesus Christ, I'm over it. So,
could you imagine anything worse than an electric bagpipe Christmas album?
No. Well, no.
Like I would.
I have it. An electric snare drum Christmas album.
I'll tell you what. We'll do a GoFundMe. If we can get her not to make this album, I will drag my balls through broken glass.
Oh my God! Do you think she would do it?
I don't know.
She
man.
might not do it just to see.
Hey, guess what? Me screaming will make the same fucking noise.
Oh, if I wanted to hear electric bagpipes played against karaoke tracks,
dude, I got a Casio keyboard right up there. We could do this.
Let's do it. Break out the Casio. Oh God, it'll be freaking great.
Okay, so yeah, that sucks. I want to plug the rant email. If you're not getting the rant email, then you suck. It's got some good banter. We share some stories. Currently we're doing Josh's YouTube clip of the week, and it's usually something good.
What did you pick this week?
I picked Ross Miller's Trad Awards performance, which was really good.
Is that the one? Shit, I might have seen it. He's on stage with couple other people.
Yeah, that's a killer video.
What I love about that one, we may have talked about this before, isn't he like, he's really...
Dude, he's jazzy.
Yeah, he's goofing it up a bit.
Ross is jazzy.
Which I never knew that about him, that he's so goofy.
He's got personality.
Yeah.
Well, we hadn't hung up on him when he was on the show. we
got to have him back.
Yeah, we would have learned a lot more. Speaking of the rant, one of the plugs we have in there is you can get $1 off your Dojo Premium test drive.
Not $1
off. Your $1 premium? Fusco, you work for the Dojo. You pitch us. Why should people...
Yeah, here's a great deal. $1 off.
Why should people go to the Dojo? Go.
Okay, one of the most recent reasons is our Sunday sessions. They're absolutely phenomenal. We recently had Chris Gray on, who has... You don't know who that is, but...
Who the fuck is Chris Gray? He asks for the entire audience.
I didn't... I didn't actually know who he was until about 6 months. Thanks to Rona and everybody being stuck at home, I've searched a lot of stuff on YouTube. And this guy, I believe he goes to the conservatory, but he does a lot of stuff with arranging P-Brock with other instruments and vocalists and piano. He put out this video 6 months ago where he's playing piano and this girl is singing this P-Brock. I off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was, but it's absolutely phenomenal. And he just does a lot of stuff like that. He's a piper, and he was just teaching this last Sunday about playing bagpipes with other instruments. So anyway, these Sunday sessions have been really successful. About every 2 weeks, they have some significant person. We've had Stuart Little, Willie McCallum, Ken Eller.
Let me know when you get to a significant person.
All kinds of people teaching things on a Sunday, and that's been really cool. So, and you get this as part of your. That was just me squeaking on a chair. That wasn't a fart. So, but anyway, you get these things as part of your membership to.
It's the quality content you get at the Channeran podcast. Which thing is a chair? Which thing is a fart?
We're gonna play a game. Hoineke, was that a fart or was that the chair?
Speaking of Stuart Little, we posted to the Patreon channel the second part of our interview with Stu, which is a little more low key. It's interesting. It's good. It's good banter.
Anybody? Did you hear that, Hoineke?
I haven't yet. I didn't see it come out. Was that after the stream, or was that like kind of the back end of the stream?
It would have been. You would have been able to hear it if you were on the stream at the time.
Yeah, because I was on for most of that show.
Oh, okay.
I'm on most of the streams, as most of my fellow patrons know.
Yep. Yeah. No, I believe that was the incredibly drunken part of that, which probably got repetitive. I don't know how your editing went.
No, I thought actually it turned out. Yeah, you weren't as bad as you thought.
Yeah. I never know because I'm blacked out.
I mostly let you take the lead because you were nerding out, and I was just like doing administrative work on the side. So
right,
it worked out great.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so these are the kind of benefits you get with joining the Patreon.
Chris Anderson says snake charmer simps.
Simps.
Oh, you're gonna have to Google that later.
Okay, I will. But yeah. So anyway, what else we got?
That's about it. I want to plug the Big Grace Note rant goes up to the line with the pod band Lady Pipers podcast, which is a week from today.
Is it really?
Yep.
That's coming up fast. And we do have confirmation that people are going to show up. We've asked them 2 or 3 times.
I mean, by the time this episode comes out, this will have already happened.
Well, that's true. That's good. Well, yeah.
But mark
we're behind like 4 episodes.
Mark your calendars, people. 12/12 at 1300 PST will be the Big Grace Note rant goes up to the line with the pod band Lady Pipers podcast.
Holy shit.
See, I did it in one run that time.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. See, I got a voice made for radio.
I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to black out and sing songs.
It's going to be really fun. Yeah, I'm very excited. If anyone was around for the original Big Grace Note rant, this will be way more of a shit show.
It should be because we have twice as many people. We got all
these
these females going to be on there.
We're going to have like 9 people from 4 different podcasts.
Do you think we're going to be able to control ourselves and be gentlemen?
I am always a gentleman. You're a cunt.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
As soon as a member of the opposite sex enters the arena, you can do nothing but make jokes about them being a member of the opposite sex.
Yeah, I suppose.
Speaking about making jokes of the opposite sex, this episode of the Channeran podcast is brought to you by McClellan Bagpipes. Wait, no, we shouldn't. That shouldn't be our segue, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Let's hold on. Let me try this again. Speaking of things that fit like a glove, this episode of the Channeran podcast is brought to you by McClellan Bagpipes. No? Yes? No? How do we feel?
And then we're going to play the ad after that?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do it live. We're just going to fucking play it.
I think this is fun, though. Let's have Hoineke see if he does a better version of it than we do.
Nobody can do a better version than I do. Come on. I'm the king of king of ad reads. All right, let's do this. Hold on. Let me do a new take on this. Hold on. Oh, what? No, that wasn't the bit. Yeah.
I know.
Speaking of ways to keep yourself from having a horrific showing at an online contest as the apocalypse draws on in 2021 through 2023, this episode of the Channeran podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, McClellan Bagpipes. Here's a word from them. This episode of the Channeran podcast is brought to you by McClellan Bagpipes, proudly made in North America by artesian bagpipe maker Roddy McClellan from Eust, Scotland. At McClellan Bagpipes, they don't strive to be the biggest, fastest, or the cheapest. They do, however, meticulously craft a small number of the best-sounding and most beautiful-looking bagpipes in the world since their beginning in 1988. Over the years, McClellan Bagpipes has established a solid reputation for rich, warm, and stable tone, created with incredible craftsmanship and instruments of heirloom quality and unparalleled beauty. Head to BespokeBagpipes.com to learn more about their innovations like the new Elevation Chanter, which features a lower-pitched richness inspired by the classic top hand of older chanters and sustainable solutions like the Revelation Bagpipe. a Delrin instrument featuring bores lined with a cellulose polymer sleeve, giving you the structural benefits of a Delrin instrument while maintaining a refined wood-like sound. Check out McClellan Bagpipes' diverse line of instruments and learn more about their restoration work on vintage bagpipes by visiting their website at bespokebagpipes.com. McClellan Bagpipes, born in Scotland, made in the USA. Cool, now we just go on with the show. Because we'll just insert that later.
I heard that McClellan Bagpipes are custom makers of the highest quality Great Highland bagpipes and chanters.
That is true. Have you heard about the new Elevation chanter?
You know, I did. They're like all of their bagpipes. They're crafted from the finest materials using traditional skills learned in Scotland. It's like mind-boggling how great these bespoke pipes are.
They are bespoke. That is for sure.
They keep using that word bespoke. I don't think they know what it means.
I do not think it means what you think it means. Hey, they're handmade by Roddy McClellan himself. And
I'll tell you what. If you measure from my armpit to my elbow and then send me a bag based on that, I'll consider it bespoke bagpipes.
Well, he doesn't make the bags. He just makes the drones.
I'm just saying, bespoke means like tailored.
True. Maybe the pipes are tailored.
I can attest that Roddy is a pretty decent bass drummer because I spent an afternoon teaching him.
Wait, what? Why is this?
Yeah.
Well, because he wants to try to get on that McClellan advertising train. Stop trying to steal our... Dude, do you have any idea? We lose McClellan, this light goes off.
Yeah. We can't lose McClellan, baby. He's paying for this light.
McClellan keeps the light on.
Take that, Rab.
Yeah.
And G1.
Yeah, get fucked.
Hey, hold on. I do have a question.
You guys want to know why we don't have a G1 Reed sponsorship?
Yeah.
Because we like good reeds.
Oh, Jesus. How many times... have you ever noticed how much we trash that guy just for the fun of it? And he's never... Well, actually, he's never been on a show, so I guess maybe this is not a good argument, but... he's just never gotten angry at us, at least.
He's just sitting in the corner, making reeds out of coffins he dug up and saying, well, they're right when they're right,
He's too busy making it rain. He's like, I ain't got time for those guys. I got that sweet, sweet reed money, baby. Ching, ching. How did G1 go from unknown to probably the most well-known, it's hard to say, but well-known, popular reed and chanter in the world in 7 years?
Extortion.
5 years? 7 years?
I mean, it can't hurt having Inverary playing them.
Right. I mean, that's...
Because they definitely do.
But
I mean, also, having a band, like as good as City of Chicago, playing all your products also, probably doesn't matter.
Right.
Under no duress whatsoever, I've been asked to read this statement. Inverary definitely plays G1 reeds. like totally 100%. It's not the chanter, it's the reed, and the reeds definitely aren't Chesney's.
That's so funny. Hey, I don't know.
Either your signature is going to be on that paper, or
Yeah,
Hey, the truth.
The laws are pretty strict. What are they going to do? Shillelagh me?
Oh well, what are you gonna do? So
hey, if you want to set the record straight, channeran@gmail.com, bro.
Yeah, hey,
we'll get a second light. It'll be our G1 light right here.
We'll put it. It'll be there every show, buddy. Fucking Jock Elliott, man, give me a call.
So before we had to go to news and updates and also the ad break, we were talking a little bit about culture. We were talking about what makes you want to fuck to save your own species when it comes to just showing up with all of your clothes, which is the base level of being in a band, in my opinion. Like all musical
Can I say one more thing about
intricacies,
that?
all musical intricacies aside, if you could show up with all of your fucking clothes, that would be dope.
Can I add one more little thing onto that?
Happily.
Just the cherry on top. So we gave him the drummer's T-shirts. The one guy, the same guy that had all these issues, he was he put his stuff on. He still looked like a bag of dicks. And I said to him at one point, I was like,
God, I hope he doesn't listen to the show.
he won't. But I said, "Can you tuck in your shirt at least?" He's like, "Geez, you're so specific." I'm like,
It's a
Dude.
pipe band, dude.
I'm like, dude, how do you not know this about me at this point? I've given you shit for a year now about looking good. Like, that matters to me. Like, I'd use this as a surprise to you.
It's literally called a uniform, not a wear what you want.
I was absolutely thinking that, like, how do we...
Look like a bag of assholes as much as you want in your free time.
Right. Which... You would think some people
I've spent
want to
8
look...
months. I've spent 8 months in sweatpants.
Listen,
like,
I get it. You're married with kids and it doesn't matter anymore. But, like, just... How do you not want to look decent on a daily basis? I don't know.
Fusco, you're singling out this human, and maybe they're just having a bad day.
No, you know this person. This is their
Now
life.
you're trying to get me to single out the same person, and it's not going to
No,
work.
I'm not trying to trash the guy. He is who he is. Like, I'm not making this up.
So why is it that drummers are shite? Cobra.
It was his partner shite?
No.
No, that guy's he's on it. He's like, well,
And he
he asked me
changed-
like 7 times.
And
like,
he
what should I-
changed his shirt in front of everyone, which I appreciate.
Well, yeah, that was nice. But like, what's funny about the other guy is like he texted me
Handsome
like
fella.
He texted me like 3 times like, what shirt should I wear? What shirt should I wear? What shirt should I wear? I'm like, man, I'll get back to you because I still don't know. I'm trying to sort it out. But I appreciate that he was like super on it.
Some people want to do it right, and also,
Yeah, and he's married too, and he doesn't have to care, and he obviously doesn't care. But he's like, I want to do this right.
dude, I texted you today, even though we'd talked about it the day before, because I was like, hey, what's the update?
I still didn't know because I was trying to get a hold of the guy
Like,
that has all our shit.
I texted you at like 11, and I was like, hey, just, what's, I've got multiple options ready to go. Like, if you need, because I thought I was going to have to go to the store.
Right.
I literally thought I was going to have to go to the store and get fucking polos for everybody.
That would have worked too, but we would have had the wrong hose, wrong shoes, wrong flashes anyway. So we wouldn't went through all that trouble for nothing. And I already did.
Yeah.
Why 2 of us do?
Yeah, but I'm the pipe sergeant. My job is to just be on call. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like
Soon to be ex vice president, by the way.
that's correct.
Can we talk about this a little bit?
I don't know. Is this part of the process?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cobra. I'm always interested in his opinion because he's been in pipe band leadership for a very long time. When was the last time you were in a band where you weren't on the board or a drum sergeant or like a senior member?
My most recent guest run with LA, so like 2011 through 14.
So we're counting LA as a band. That does change my timeline.
Wait, what? To do what?
Sorry, I had to get my shot in. But yeah, so I had the conversation with Fusco recently. We have our AGM
Oh yeah.
coming up. It's that time of year where bands are having their AGMs, kids. It's the most
It's the most
wonderful time.
especially if you're on the way
of
out.
the year.
Especially if you're quitting. If you got to do this alone next year, guess what?
I'm not quitting. I have done my term. I've served.
It's time for somebody else to do it half-assed.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a hard job by any means.
No, it's not.
And yet
Obviously.
no one has volunteered,
Not a soul.
which I think is interesting. So, Cobra, do you serve on the board of your band right now?
I do not. But we have a sort of a unique setup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you willing to talk about that unique setup? I mean,
I
is
can
that
talk about it to a certain extent. It exists. I mean, if somebody wanted to file a freedom of information, about the band as a 501c3, it would be right there in black and white.
Well, I mean,
As long as it's all legal.
Yeah, all the bands are 501c3s. My interest is,
But his
we've
is
been
very different though.
Well, that's okay. He doesn't have to elaborate on his. If, I can ask him about ours, because we've been working over the past few years to try to make it so that the people who are the board members don't necessarily have to be a band member.
Correct. We changed that a little bit.
Because we've been trying to get some administrators in so that we can focus on music. Does that sum up your vision?
Yes. And also to eliminate beginnerish type people being on the board because we were desperate for anybody to do it.
Yeah, because, I mean, we did run into a situation, and while people served really, they served to their fucking best capability, the fact that they were on the board affected their musical progression,
and
which was a problem, especially with students.
Yeah, we wanted to eliminate that, yeah.
So we're trying to potentially move to like a 50% or eventually one day maybe 100%
board
that's not band members.
That's not active
That's actually
players.
what I don't know if you realize this or not. That's very like old world sort of Scottish pipe band. Like they have people whose job is to make sure that the band as a entity is financially healthy and, following true to its mission and all that kind of stuff. And I know that some of the other bands out there, like even it's very clear if you go to Simon Fraser pipe band, SFU PB, blah 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 blah. It talks about the SFU Society, which is their actual organization. The band is a manifestation of that society.
Which is fucking genius.
Yeah. I don't necessarily. It has not been my experience that that's a path that I've been in effectively. I've been in organizations where that approach has been a detriment. I've been in organizations that have had stuff on paper and never, actually followed it, including that other band we talked about a second ago, who has a structure that doesn't really matter because one person is actually in charge.
We were like that for a while, I feel like. I mean, there was a long time in the early days of the band that shall not be named where there's really only one person doing everything.
Right.
And then after that person left, we had to kind of like build. Well, I didn't have to do shit. You were made pipe major, and you had to build out some structure at least. And because I was in a fucking 400 miles away.
Right.
I think it boils down to deciding what you need done and how many people need to be involved to do that. Like, what is the lowest possible number of people to do the things that need to be done?
Well, and
then identify people to do that and start there. And eventually, when someone decides they don't want to do that thing anymore, try and find somebody else to do that thing. I think the concept of, president, vice president, secretary, nominal titles, I personally, not speaking for any other organization, find that ridiculously obsolete.
But it's the law, so we have to have it.
Correct. So, like, in my band, our pipe major and our president are the same person.
Right.
Currently.
That's
No, I'm saying currently we have the exact same thing.
the same thing
Yeah.
here.
Well, and like our VP, who is VP on paper, is one of the co-founders of the band. He also happens to be the director of our development band at the moment. And our secretary on paper is another co-founder of the band. Those positions are the only positions that exist, and they vote on each other. And that's it.
Wait.
So,
What?
like,
So you have
what else
a president, vice president, treasurer, and that's it?
Secretary, yeah.
They have
There's
a
no
four.
legal,
So
there's no legal requirement for a treasurer.
Oh,
anymore,
so
right?
president, vice president,
so
secretary.
You don't have a treasurer.
Yeah. Not on paper. Our band manager, who happens to also be the president, who happens to also be the pipe major, handles all the money.
Oh, that would never fly here. Yeah.
Do you guys have to report your treasury, whatever, to
Yes.
anybody, to the members or anything like that?
The band employs a CPA on an annual basis to run our books and file our taxes and all that stuff. So everything's above board.
Do you have to report it to your members though?
No, we don't have members.
Right. So this is what's interesting.
Yeah, so that's different.
So tell us about how this part works, because this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, it was a thing when the band was founded.
What's also scale?
Well, let me explain,
Yeah.
and then we'll.
Yeah, it was a very sort of, call it cunning or call it intelligent, maybe a little bit of both. That one of our founders, who is an attorney, did a bunch of research and found that the minimum size of an organization in Illinois is 3, because you have to have 3 people in those officer positions.
Right. Okay.
And so when the articles of incorporation or bylaws, I'm not really sure the terminology, when everything was drafted, the founding documents that are required by law to exist, when they were drafted, it was set up in such a way that pipers and drummers within the band are beneficiaries of the existence of the band, but there's no vote within that existence.
Oh my God, they're indentured.
What a loophole.
Well, look, it's in the interest of the success of the band, for the people who hold the power on paper to serve the better good of everyone and everything involved. But it also keeps decision making and stuff like that really tidy, because as long as the people who are in the leadership position are continuing to do that for the betterment of the band, then that's it. And we ask people all the time, like, what do you think? We don't have to have a full band AGM, because none of them are voting members.
So then
I'm not even a voting member. I'm the leading drummer of the band. I'm not an officer. I'm not a board member. I'm literally just a director level music leader who happens to also be heavily involved in our logistics and stuff like that.
So, hold on. There's so many thoughts.
Well, I would say that works. That works. If
I love taking the people out of it.
Well, it works if you have the numbers.
I don't think it matters. I
think
the
it
numbers
does.
matter.
Yeah. I don't think the numbers really.
Because, like, keep in mind,
I think a lot of it is
like, okay, let's say.
Well, hold on. Let me start.
Let's say we hire a CPA tomorrow. How?
I'm not saying that. I'm talking. We're talking taking the band level players out of the mix, and that's what he's talking about.
Well, I'm not going to say me, because I'm not a board member, but I'm part of musical leadership, so I'm part of the band's sort of status quo management, right? Essentially, and as such, I and the other board members who are board members, our goal is the best interest and the promotion of the organization. So we can't make decisions to the detriment of the organization, right? So we have to take on their information. We have to ask them questions and make sure that we're, if we decide to go to Scotland, we can't say, okay, we're going, by the way, buy your flights. We need to make sure that everybody's cool with that, right? Before we do something like that. But we don't need to have a big discussion and a decision as to whether that's a good use of the band's money. We just have to make sure that all of the band members who would be part of that are on board with it.
Okay.
So it's like it's a benevolent aristocracy of sorts, but or oligarchy or something like that. But it's the kind of organization that a lot of those of us who are in leadership in the band, whether we're board members or officers at large or whatever, we all grew up in an organization that was an absolute totalitarian dictatorship. One person was in charge, and if you didn't like that, join another band.
Right.
And we saw that worked, but needed tempering and modernization. So the current iteration is a tempered, modern version of people who know what they're doing are in charge, and everyone has a say. Like everyone, anybody can come pull me aside and say, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable with this thing we're doing," and we'll have a very open, transparent conversation about that. We don't serve at their leisure, but we do serve them. Without them, there is no band. Chiefs and Indians, right? Not to use politically incorrect terms, but like, you can't have a kitchen full of chefs without a bunch of line cooks and dishwashers. It just doesn't matter, right? So, although we are structured a certain way on paper and we function a certain way, it is the responsibility falls to those of us who accepted the mantle of leadership to serve the people in the band,
right,
and do what's best for the organization and its member and its playing members at the same time.
It's interesting. It's different. Well, it's different
definitely
than
different. I haven't seen another organization like that, and a lot of people go, "Huh, yeah, I don't know how to do that." And I think a lot of it is because a lot of groups already exist, and so transforming into the kind of organization that we are is hard.
It also relies on a lot of good intention.
Absolutely.
correct. But it also, well, so I don't know how much you're willing to talk about this, but this was also inspired by past discrepancies. I don't know the right word to say this. Because is this a road I can go down or no? So
yeah.
At some point, you guys used to be sort of a little more our style, I guess. A little more typical style of like most bands. And then something happened.
But another band was like that.
Right. The previous iteration of what became the City of Chicago Pipe Band, right?
The band that a lot of us used to be a member of.
Right. So then something happened. You know, some people had some disagreements. There was an attempted coup.
No. That's a fast forward 12 years.
Oh, okay. Do you want to take us through this then?
So a bunch of us who founded the City of Chicago Pipe Band were previously members of another band that no longer exists. The structure of that band was not set up to do the things that they said they wanted to do, and that they were telling people that they wanted to pursue while recruiting us. And so when we tripled the size of the band in a year and a half, their infrastructure was not adequate or aligned with that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it got hot real fast. And unfortunately,
hot meaning
like people disagreeing again.
Contentious.
Okay.
Some really, really ugly emails and
Gotcha.
conversations and stuff. Really disgustingly ugly stuff. And look, facts are facts. Like this is literally, we're talking about 17 years ago. I was a lot younger. My comrades were a lot younger, and people were in a different position. And some of it was that. But in the end, we wanted what we had been sold, and that it wasn't going to happen there. And that just simply became apparent. So we moved on, which was the causality of the forming of the City of Chicago Pipe Band and why the organization was founded the way that it was, with limited leadership opportunity. And there's a direct causality between what couldn't happen in that band and what we wanted to do.
Okay.
What I would say, when we talk about our structure, one of the luxuries we don't really seem to have is a lot of engaged membership. Like if we had 20 people who were all super engaged, I may be more worried about the leadership structure and, a maligned few trying to dictate the way the whole goes. But honestly, at this point, we just want people who give a shit about the org.
Okay, so there's a couple things there. Yes, I agree. We do have a general lack of engagement. Spiritually, emotionally, whatever. However,
Time-wise.
However, we've dealt with this issue many a time, and I remember I thought about this from like when I was made pipe major so many years ago, long before I was president, because I'd never been until this past year. But ultimately, in the end, the pipe major more or less calls the shots, just from like an overall traditional whatever. That's just kind of standard the way it goes, with some board people helping to more or less fund and steer the backside of this thing. More or less. So we do deal with some lack of engagement, but part of it too is that like when you're trying to organize a nonprofit that has to raise money somehow, usually through gigs, like most bands do. Some do other things
through performing.
Hopefully through performing, not always, but hopefully. That we'd run into a lack. I don't know. I guess a lack of time on one person to do it all. Right, but also the fact that we've dealt with this, and you have been in and out, but like where people like we've had people that wanted to take over for the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah.
Over the
I
years.
distinctly remember.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. It's been very not like that for years now, but there was a time when it was highly contentious over, and there were some things, I'm sure, I don't know how much you're willing to go into it, but there's things that happened with his band as well that did that. But so I remember being advised way back when by somebody that was like, like dissolve the nonprofit, create your own thing, and just run the fucking thing. Don't let anybody else involved, and just. But he came from the old school Scottish tradition of there's one guy and that's it. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but like that's not how America works.
Well,
it's
also,
people have a different mentality here. It's a little
also
different.
too much for one person, and also
There's too much to do.
Assuming you want to do a nonprofit, there's a whole other thing.
Well, the nonprofit, there's certain rules,
Yeah,
but like they've figured out a way.
There's a legality of having multiple people,
And that's what I always said to him.
Well,
I
and that
think
changes
probably-
depending on the state.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. Like all of what we have is predicated on the laws and requirements of the state of Illinois.
And I don't think our laws are all that different. I mean, essentially, what do we have now? We have got
here's what I would-
two outsiders on our board that kind of do whatever we tell them to do. They're going to vote whatever we tell
They
them.
do a great job.
No, they do a great job. But what I mean is from like they don't know anything about what's going on in the band.
No, but they're also
they're just
their roles
setting meetings and running the reports. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but their roles aren't like they didn't end up in those roles because we thought they would like check us and balance us.
No,
They're in those roles. And also they're not in those roles because we thought they wouldn't, and we thought they'd be sycophants. The reason they're in those roles is because they are adept at those roles.
At those particular, we thought they would be talented at. That
I don't
kind
need.
Of job.
I can't like. There's no good reason to have like a snare drummer who knows nothing about financing a nonprofit organization, and just because we have a vacancy, let's make them the treasurer. Like, there's just no way.
But that's how it was
just
done
that's
forever.
a titular, useless appointment.
Yeah,
That was from the time the band was
we haven't had a treasurer
started in 1999 until 2010, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer.
And
that's how it was done. Like who's
single,
a warm body?
Every single treasurer was a warm body that didn't know how to do the job.
And they were awful. Well, other than the last two.
Yeah. And the last two were good.
Yeah. Max and I'll shout them out. Max and Barbara.
Max and Babs, dude. Like, but that's one of those things.
But that was 17 years of nonsense. Well, 16 years of nonsense.
It's 17 years of someone trying to figure out how to do a job they weren't qualified for.
Correct. Because that's how pipe bands run. Like, how many times again, I don't know Hoynicke's experience, but he tends to run play in organized bands. There's a lot of fucking people that don't know what they're doing.
I mean, do you remember?
Out there.
Do you remember all the treasurer reports, even before I was on the board? Back when I just was involved in board things because we were working on the concert, or whatever. And the treasurer reports we used to rip to shreds because one, you fucking used to work in finance.
Mm-hmm. I'm like.
And I do the finance for fucking my org, and I'm just like, no. This is what we need. Like, this
ain't right.
Well, and Fusco, you and I were in an organization together for a while where I had to go la 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 la.
Right. Yes.
And just make sure that there was a drum corps. Like literally, make sure that there was a drum corps and that the guy in charge didn't like actually beat anybody up.
Correct.
Oh, he's just a wee guy.
Kiss on the forehead.
He's pretty tall.
I mean,
he's angry, but
he's angry, but he's not that.
But there
bad.
was a lot of questionable decisions made. But I'm like, hey, I want to play in a band. I want to learn something, so I'll just put up with it.
Dude, if nothing else, that band gave me some very good friends, and I wasn't even playing in it.
No, yeah, there's some great people.
I got invited and had to deny because he's like, all right, all I need to do is like buy $1,600 of shit, and I'm like, I'm 16.
That's not gonna happen.
I just bought a car. I have no money.
Tell you what, including our most recent Patreon, Matt Biggs, who also played in that band. Thanks for joining, Matt.
Speaking of which, have we ever had Daryl on the show?
Yes, we have.
Oh, yeah, I miss that guy.
He was supposed to be here for Thanksgiving. He didn't call me, but he was supposed to be here. He has family that lives here. I don't know if you know.
But yeah, I think there's a whole. I don't know.
You should have Timbo on.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that fucking guy? Oh my God! Let's just get him talking about conspiracy theories and shit. Holy shit!
We could do a whole other podcast.
Tim was on our 100th anniversary episode playing the pipes when we were too drunk to fucking.
That's right. He was
to move.
He was he drove out from California just to see this fucking nonsense live.
All right, guys, and by no means do we have to stop, but I am curious. So we've kind of come into crossroads on this like weird administration topic we fell into.
Yeah, this was not at all what was intended. But I do find it interesting.
It's super interesting, and we can keep going. But here's where I'd like to potentially tie a bow in one way or another. So we have these dichotomies of pipe bands should be organizations either run by one person who's a pipe band person, or, in our case, what the thing we run into is most pipe bands in the United States are nonprofits that may be better run by nonprofit people. And excluding all of the extenuating circumstances, which is like, will your members actually show up to do a job? Nobody's volunteered to be fucking vice president, by the way.
No.
So you have apathy. You have to deal with apathy. You have to deal with skill sets. I'm interested to know, is there a way that we think is better, or is everything different? Starting with Cobra, because, let's talk about, just a benevolent aristocracy.
Do you have a direct question? He looks confused.
Is a benevolent dictatorship good? Cobra, go.
A benevolent what did you say?
I said aristocracy.
Is that a word?
No, aristocracy. I was just fucking with you.
Like, wait, what?
I think it works. I think it works for us just because we have people who have the level of experience we have. We have we have people who've played globally, who played in multiple bands and blah, 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 blah. It works for us because it works for us. I'm not here to say that it's going to work for anybody else or is the best way. Like, I'm also not here to shit on the way that other people run their bands. I've seen the quote unquote democratic way work better in some places than others. Like, it didn't work in our previous organization, but I've seen other bands that are fine and have always had that. So I don't know if there is a perfect world. I think if everybody's in it for the right reasons and somehow there's money to do shit, then it's fine. But you need to find what that is. And some of it has to go with why you exist as a band. If you know why you exist as a band and what your purpose is, it'll help define some of that other stuff.
Yeah. So my thoughts are these. A couple things about that. One, I've been in a couple different organizations. Like he referred to the organization that him and I were, how we really met back then, where one person was the god of the band. Like nobody had anything to do with anything.
Their last name was literally in the band.
Yeah, it was not a benevolent dictatorship. It was a dictatorship.
It was 100%, and it was like
he was very benevolent, but it wasn't. He
was a wonderful, really nice guy, but it was like no, it's my way. I don't give a fuck. So and all Honecky had to deal with was like, hey, I just need you to provide instruments. Otherwise, I will take care of my job. You do your fucking thing. Show up with instruments, and I will be where you tell me to be with a drum corps that will do this.
And your new patron was one of those drummers.
He was, absolutely. Yeah. And so I would show up, and he very specifically told me exactly what to do, and I just did it because I wanted to do it. I wanted to learn. And that's one way. The other, there's the very opposite side of that coin, which is probably more like service bandy kind of things. Street bands tend to, like, a lot of people have a lot of opinions and they want their opinions heard, and that's a thing. I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, that is a thing, and it tends to err on the side of street bands, service bands, whatever. They tend to be that type where everybody's got
bands that are like long-standing in the same couple of families or in the same
like family-oriented
long-standing membership. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And then there's a bunch of us in the middle trying to like do something positive musically. So you got like let's take like the Joe Brady's of the world, the Waken Districts of the world, where like Joe is a pipe bander and also insanely efficient as a leader, moderator, get things done kind of guy, whatever, all of that. Like, and sometimes I think, and I think what Chicago has going for them and Waken District has going for them and what we lack is one or two people, maybe more, 3, 4, whatever it is, that are incredibly efficient, incredibly dedicated to that one thing. Like, Joe has no interest and I'm just using this as an example, in anything other than his band. He's not trying to run his games. He's not trying to do anything other than promote Wake and District. That's it. And that's just his choice. That's what he chose to do. Like he plays in Chicago's police band every now and again. He flies out there and helps them guys out and whatever. And he advises us. He's been a great asset to me. Like, hey man, what do you think about this?
Joe's my Yoda.
Him and Hoineke, to be honest, have been great advisors. Like between the two of them, like, hey, what do you think about this? And they'll tell me like what they would have done, whatever, those kind of things, right? Like,
and he and I do, in point of fairness, he and I do that for each other. Brady and I have a fantastic connection and have for a long time.
Right, and that's huge. Like you get, like, but there's a little bit of luck in that, and a little bit of, I don't know if I call it luck, but like you guys happen to be centered in Chicago and came together. You have this group of 3 that just is a 3 or 4, whatever it is, 3 or 4 of you guys that really,
probably 5.
That really make this thing happen. And Joe's got his thing, 3 or 4 of his guys that really make this thing happen, make it successful. You know, maybe the LA Scots have their thing or whoever it is. Like there's various groups. And there's a lot of groups that flounder. And we've kind of struggled on that floundering.
Well, when was the last time you had more than one person?
Yes.
I'm not just talking about me. Like even when I was in Reno, you had one person helping you.
It was me and one other person.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was almost always been me and one other person. Which, and this is my argument, is like sometimes you need 3 or 4 instead of 1 or 2. You know what I mean? And where you want to keep it tight, but you still need to get things done. And and everybody does a day job, so you got to split duties somehow. You know. So, and this is where why we headed down the road of non-playing members being on the board, so we can get things done without having to like them also learn music. And now I have to have a father-child relationship as a teacher versus student. And then they're on the board and now they're fucking like, now they're asking me questions like that don't work. Like, guess what? That ain't happening. You know, like it doesn't work.
You didn't have the opportunity to say because I said so.
Well, yes. Well,
that was the thing. Like you didn't have the opportunity.
No,
to be like,
I probably did
because
beforehand, but now suddenly they have clout, and
because
they still don't know what they're talking about.
I remember like when we, you know, when I got on the board and then we got you to be the president. It was just like, dude, we just have to get shit done. This is not personal against anyone. The people who had the jobs didn't want the jobs anymore. We just had to like get a 2-year period of pushing the shit through the pipe.
Right.
And that was before we knew about Rona and all the shit we're going to have to deal with that.
Right.
It's like we just need some time for you guys to focus on playing music. Because the thing that you were spending all your time on isn't that fucking hard. Which being the president or the vice president of a nonprofit is not that fucking hard.
Well, especially vice president. But
like, it's not that hard. Just get people to help you. Like, I mean, we had 4 flawless board meetings? Well, soon to be 4 flawless board meetings.
Yeah, very quick. We got them done under time. And
it's just experience, though. I mean, that's the thing at the end of the day. It's experience.
I don't want to discount the past because I think people did a good job. But what happened was we had people in positions.
Yeah, we're still building on things other people helped.
Correct. But I think sometimes what happens is, hey, I do this in my real life, and I'm pretty good at this, so I'm just going to be successful, so I'll focus on this. And they were pretty good at that, like being efficient at coming up with, like, organizing the concert or whatever it was, like being a president, whatever it was. But then the music goes by the wayside, and ultimately, isn't that really why we're here? Like, in the end, I really care about that.
Doesn't matter how many people show up to the concert if it's bad.
Right. Correct. It's worse. The more people show up and it's bad, like that's worse, right? So what I really want you to do is focus on being a good student and or piper and or student, whatever. Musician. And take that away from those student level players, which is what we've always relied on, which is, in my opinion, the biggest mistake we've ever made.
Well, we didn't have a lot of options.
We had no options. Yeah. And I understand. And I'm sure 70% of bands are dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean,
you have no other options. You got 12 people in your band. You need 7 people on a board because of fucking goddamn ridiculous laws.
We only need 4.
Like, whatever. 4 plus, 4.
That's still almost half the band. That's over half the bands on the board.
Right. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
All right, guys. This has been incredibly interesting. I'm not saying that we have to log off, but we do have to give a nice, tidy end for what will be Fusco's edit because Cobra's levels are so low, and I don't want to deal with that.
I can fix that.
So let's go round robin. I'm going to do final thoughts, starting with Fusco, going to Cobra, and then me.
Oh, I thought we were just did final thoughts, but okay. I say recruit good talent, good management talent. That's incredibly important. Hopefully, there are people that like a Joe Brady type that knows how to play pipes and understands the piping world. But if you don't, fill positions that you don't need to know that kind of thing. You can't be the president. Like the person in charge got to know something about pipe bands. It's just gotta. But the treasurer and the secretary don't. They just need run meetings and run reports and do it well. You know what I mean? Vice president could be somebody useless as Josh.
As useless as me, or a rock with a face drawn on.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts.
Throw it to Cobes.
Yeah, Cobes, what do you think?
Know what kind of band you are. Like, distill that as best as you possibly can. Find the fewest number of people who are willing to commit to that and forge ahead. Move forward. Always move forward. As simple as possible. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. Complication is something that people add. Figure out who you are, what you are, why you are, and pursue that at all costs. That is what will actually end up having some kind of success on your mission. Not somebody else's mission, not what other band's doing, whatever. Who are you? What are you? Do that as good as you possibly can. And as simply as possible is usually best.
Brilliant. I accented that with a wonderful fart. That was an amazing statement.
I would say I don't have much to add. I think Fusco and Cobra really nailed it. All I would say is take all of those things under advisement and consider the fact that one day you'll probably move.
So true. And it won't matter anyway.
It won't matter anymore.
Anyway. Fuck them. Let them burn.